I invite the Minister of Infrastructure to lead the House in prayer or reflection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I choose my reflection today from the book The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And I preface my reflection by saying that I selected this entry in the spirit of good humor, given the role that we all have as elected officials in this House, and I hope that it will be taken in that spirit of good humor. And then a scholar said, "Speak of talking." And he answered, saying, "You talk when you cease to be at peace with your thoughts. And when you can no longer dwell in the solitude of your heart, you live in your lips, and the sound is a diversion and a pastime. And in much of your talking, thinking is half murdered, for thought is a bird of space that in a cage of words may indeed unfold its wings but cannot fly. There are those among you who seek the talkative through fear of being alone. The silence of aloneness reveals to their eyes their naked selves, and they would escape. And there are those who talk without knowledge or forethought, reveal a truth which they themselves do not understand. And there are those who have the truth within them, but they tell it not in words. In the bosom of such as these, the Spirit dwells in rhythmic silence. When you meet your friend on the roadside or in the marketplace, let the Spirit in you move your lips and direct your tongue. Let the voice within your voice speak to the ear of his ear, for his soul will keep the truth of your heart as the taste of wine is remembered when the color is forgotten and the vessel is no more."
Introduction by members. Member for Esquimalt Colwood.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's with great honor today that I get to introduce some of the following members. Paul Finch, BCGEU the British Columbia General Employees Union President and a friend. The Component 4 Life Lab Bargaining Committee. Manny Defields, Bargaining Committee Chairperson. Kelly Jeffs, Bargaining Committee Vice Chairperson. Marahim Bahala, Bargaining Committee Member. Tony Lee, Bargaining Committee Member. Rosario Vera, Bargaining Committee Member. Wendy Cummer, Bargaining Committee Member. Lindsay Buss, BCGU Staff Representative Negotiations, as well as Barbara Mitchell-Pollock from Council of Canadians and BC Health Coalition. As a past proud BCG member, I know this House will also make them all feel welcome here. Thank you.
Minister of Children and Family Development.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Today I would like to welcome several public service staff from my ministry. Karina, Marie-Helene, Travis, Angus, and Darren, and Gail are joining us today. I'm excited to say that Gail is joining us in person for the first time in her last week before retirement. I know we all have a bucket list and in life, and I'm more than happy to help Gail with her bucket list today, joining us in the BC Legislature. Gail has been in government since 2017 and has served under multiple ministries. I'm especially grateful for her communications support over the last few months while I transitioned into this role. And so happy retirement, Gail. Will everybody please join me in wishing Gail a very happy next part of her journey.
Member for Abbotsford South.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm sure you can identify the role of the whip is often filled with having to chastise folks once in a while, which is a role I'm sure that you are well aware of and familiar with. Me being one of the better behaved people in here, I would never. But it is also filled at times with great celebration, and this would be one of those times. It is come to my attention that the member from Kootenay Rockies, it is his birthday today. Would this House please join me in wishing Pete a happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Minister of Culture and Arts and Tourism.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Well, happy birthday to the member. Also, happy birthday to my husband, Romy. It's a great day to have a birthday. But it's also a great day to be the Minister for Culture because it is Creative Industries Week here in BC. Thank you to all the members who joined the over 180 creative individuals who came and joined us in the Rotunda, representing the over 122,000 people who work in the creative industries in BC, whether it's film, TV, visual effects, digital media, music, books, magazine, tech. Their brilliance was certainly on showcase today. I have more than 50 of them joining us here today in the House. I plan on naming them all. No, I don't. Don't worry about that. That's too many names to mention, but I will say where they have come from. International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, the Directors Guild of Canada, Union of BC Performers, ACTRA, the Association of Canadian Film Craftspeople, International Cinematographers Guild, the International Teamsters, BC Film Commissioners, Creative BC, Books BC, Magazines BC, Music BC, VFX and Animation Alliance of BC, Canadian Media Producers Association, BC Office, Screen BC, and many more. And just Knowledge Network, of course, as well. And that BC, it stands for British Columbia, but it also stands for Be Creative. Thank you for being here.
Member for Penticton Summerland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to welcome Julie Fowler, one of my constituents, and the co-producer of one of my favorite events, Ignite the Arts Festival, which is a 10-day celebration of arts, culture, and music that takes place every spring in Penticton. She's the executive director of the BC Musical Festival Collective, an industry association supporting over 100 music festivals in the province, and she's here for Creative Industries Week. Will the House please join me in making Julie feel very welcome?
Minister of Jobs and Economic Development.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. We're honoured here today to be joined by the Honourable Elizabeth Cull and her partner up in the gallery, Terry Wickham. It is a real privilege for me to be able to welcome Honourable Elizabeth Cull, former Minister of Health, former Minister of Finance, and notably the first New Democrat MLA elected in my riding of Oak Bay Gordon Head. And she has paved the way for me, been an inspiration for me, and been a mentor to me. It is a real privilege to have her in the House. Would all the members help her feel welcome?
Member for Kelowna Mission.
Mr. Speaker, our research team uncovered shocking information today. Ryan Painter, a communications staffer who was well known on both sides of the House, is getting married this Sunday. He and his fiancée Stephanie have been together 21 years after meeting at UBC Okanagan. According to our researchers, Ryan first proposed 10 years ago. And this weekend, they're finally tying the knot and then spending the break cruising down the Mexican Riviera. Please join me in heartily congratulating Ryan and Stephanie.
Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So not only is he the guy with the best hair in Saanich, he happens to also be our mayor. I would like to welcome Mayor Murdoch to the legislature. It was so great to have lunch and have a great conversation about all things Saanich. I have known Mayor Murdoch for a long time. I consider him a good friend, but also a really incredible leader in our community. I commend him for his efforts on food security, always advocating for the citizens of Saanich and bringing his hair and his good brain to the table. Welcome to the chamber.
I thought the minister was going to talk about my hair. Minister of Water and Land.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I would love to speak about your hair, but instead I'm going to speak about the hair of one of our best mayors in Powell River Sunshine Coast riding, the mayor of Gibson's, Silas White, who is also sporting quite the do. So it's nice to see you, Silas. I know you had lunch with the Minister of Health as well, and could the House please welcome him today?
Member for Surrey Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have the honor today to introduce folks from an amazing organization doing wonderful work throughout our communities, and especially to do so during Sikh Heritage Month. So folks from Khalsa Aid, which is an international humanitarian organization inspired by the Sikh principle of seva, a selfless service. Khalsa Aid Canada has played an incredible role in providing relief throughout Canada in times of crisis, whether it be through COVID-19, through our disastrous floods, or the worst wildfires that our province has seen. And today in the gallery, we have Baljeet Kamo, Parmeet Sidhu, Darshdeep Dharadin, Peter Gill, Apinder Dinza, and Trevor Magus. So thank you so much for your service and everything that you do for our province. Would the House please join me in making them feel very welcome?
Member for Kootenay Monashi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't have much of a due to sport here, but this is a great week, Honourable Speaker. BC Book Day yesterday, and today in the gallery I have two friends from Fruitvale. Craig Horsland, who was a longtime teacher and an area historian in Fruitvale, and also Craig has recently moved to my colleagues' riding in Nanaimo to be close to family. With Craig is one of my favorite people in Fruitvale, Gladys Todd. Gladys is a lifelong community volunteer and has been a most lively, vibrant, and positive personality in the West Kootenays for 93 years. Please join me in welcoming them to the House.
Member for Vancouver-Langara.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Today I would like to let the House know that Parmeet Kaur Sidhu from my beautiful riding of Vancouver-Langara is visiting us with her awesome team of volunteers from Khalsa Aid BC. And I also just found out that she's the daughter-in-law of our dear friend, Sardar Amarjeet Singh Sidhu, who also works as a longshoreman, along with my darling husband Navdeep. Please make her welcome in the House. Thank you.
Member for Burnaby East.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There's a couple introductions I want to make. Of course, my colleague here and other colleague has introduced Khalsa Aid, but I have to shout out Baljeet Kaur Kamo, who has been such a mentor to me in reminding me of the importance of selfless service. I think every conversation I've ever had with her has ended with that reminder. So would everyone please join me in making her feel very welcome today. And one more. And I'm so excited to see a lineup of my dear friends from IATSE 891. I used to work at the BC Fed before this, and so I've worked very closely with one person in particular, Sano. I want to give you a shout out. Keep organizing, my friend. Hillary Bergshoff, of course, another dear friend of mine, Crystal Bronworth, who is the business representative, and Amanda Bronswick, who is the newest president of IATSE 891. Please join me in making them feel very welcome.
Minister of Social Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the House please welcome Brent Frayne and Sonia Grandel? One of the first things I remember about Sonia was she was a recipient of an insulin pump. She let me know so often what an important part of that healthcare system that was for her. Brent Frayne is famous for many areas of activism, but I learn a lot from the podcast, the PWD Allies podcast that he co-hosts. Will the House please make Brent and Sonia very welcome?
Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With Creative Industries Week, there are so many people here that we could highlight and congratulate. It's such an incredibly important part of our economy. But I want to just take a moment, if I could, Mr. Speaker, to really give a shout out to ILM. Industrial Light and Magic have just expanded their presence in Vancouver. They've opened up a new office more than 900 people working there. And at this moment in time where there are challenges between the United States and Canada, it's really important that we congratulate and embrace those American companies that continue to be such a vital part of our ecosystems in many different ways, like Industrial Light and Magic. 900 employees here, their largest studio worldwide, creating some of the most, the highest end, best quality storytelling the world knows, contributing so much to the ecosystem in British Columbia. They're represented today by Jeff White and Spencer Kent, and could the House please join me in making them most welcome in this place and in BC.
Burnaby East.
I thought I was done, but I saw another union brother just walk into the House. My dear friend Michael Cheevers from UBCP ACTRA. Many of you will know him. He used to be the Chief of Staff to the previous Minister of Labour, Harry Bains. Please join me in making my dear friend Michael feel welcome.
Madam Clerk.
Introduction of bills.
Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General.
Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to present a message from Her Honor the Lieutenant Governor.
Her Honor the Lieutenant Governor transfers herewith Bill number 12, intituled Motor Vehicle Amendment Act 2025, and recommends the same to the Legislative Assembly. Minister.
I move that the bill be introduced and read a first time now. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to introduce Bill 12, the Motor Vehicle Amendment Act 2025. The proposed Motor Vehicle Act amendments support increasing accessibility and safety to two driver licensing programs: the Graduated Licensing Program and the new Motorcyclist Licensing Program. These amendments will create new authorities to update the restrictions, qualifications, and timelines that apply to the two driver licensing programs.
The question is first reading of the bill. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be placed on the orders of the day for second reading at the next sitting of the House after today.
You have heard the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Leader of the Official Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move a bill entitled the Income Tax Grocery Rebate Guarantee Amendment Act, of which notice has been given in my name on the order paper, be introduced and read a first time now. Mr. Speaker, people need help now so they can get ahead. They can't wait 18 months to receive any support. This tax cut for the middle class supports people who are struggling with the high costs of groceries. And that's a quote, end quote. $1,000 tax cut this year, next year, and the year after that, end quote. Under our plan, families will get more support. You'll get it right away, end quote. I'm on the side of everyday people and families who just want to end the day a little further ahead than when they started, end quote. All those quotes, Mr. Speaker, are from the Premier between September 29th and October 9th of this past year. This Income Tax Grocery Rebate Amendment Act proposes to save each and every person in British Columbia $500. And by increasing the basic personal exemption, every British Columbian who files taxes in BC will save $500 on the personal income taxes. This means that a family of two with two incomes would have that $1,000 savings each and every year. Last year, the NDP promised to bring in the $1,000 annual grocery rebate and then abandoned that promise after the election. This bill rectifies that broken promise, and it brings back the grocery rebate through reducing taxes and making it permanent. The Premier said people need relief now. This bill would provide immediate relief to those who are $200 away from not being able to pay their bills. I hope that all members will find a way to be able to support this bill.
Members, the question is first reading of the bill. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Division has been called. Members, the question is first reading of the bill entitled the Income Tax Grocery Rebate Guarantee Amendment Act 2025. All those in favor, please rise or indicate. Please be seated. Those who oppose, please rise or indicate. Madam Clerk.
Minister Glumac.
I vote aye.
Emily Hepner.
I vote nay.
Emily Watt.
I vote aye.
Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk.
Those voting aye, G. Anderson, Blatherwick, Elmore, Sunner, Toporowski, B. Anderson, Neal, Osborne, Brower, Davidson, Callan, Parmar, Gibson, Bear, Chandra Herbert, Wickens, Kang, Morissette, Sandu, Krieger, Chant, La Jeunesse, Choi, Rochford, Higginson, Rutledge, Popham, Dix, Sharma, Farnworth, E.B., Bailey, Begg, Green, Whiteside, Boyle, Ma, Young, Malcolmson, Chow, Glumac, Aurora, Shaw, Philip, Deere, Sturko, Kindy, Millibar, Warbus, Rustad, Banman, Watt, Cooner, Halford, Hartwell, Neufeld, Van Popta, Dew, Gasper, Neufeld, Day, Block, Bangu, Peyton, Boltby, Chan, Tour, Giddens, Ratte, Davis, McInnes, Bird, Luck, Stamer, Maz, Tepper, Mock, Claire, Wilson, Williams, Lowen, Dhaliwal, Dirksen, Chapman, McCall, Valeriet, Botterill, Keeley, Armstrong, and Brody. 90. Those voting against, Hepner, 1.
Motion carried. Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the bill be placed on the orders of the day for second reading at the next sitting of the House after today.
You have heard the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Madam Clerk. Member for Surrey Serpentine has a hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have had my hand up and I was asking for a correction relative to the vote. If I may make a correction, I'm sorry if you didn't see my hand.
Chair will ask the House if the member is allowed to make that correction. Okay, there's no consensus. We won't have it. Okay, let's move on. Madam Clerk. Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to make an introduction.
Is leave granted? Please proceed.
So I perhaps have made a mistake as the other member has. I spent 38 years as a proud Mountie, and I've been told that the Commissioner of the RCMP, Giuliano Zaccardelli, is in the House today. Something I should have acknowledged earlier. I apologize, sir, for that mistake. It's very nice to have you here in the House. You're joined by other members of the International Police Association, Bill and Eileen Ardill, Renata and Hans Guter Bergen, Patrick and Shauna Convey, Jim and Lorna Dallimore, Pete Peter and Kelly Hoppy, Richard and Noreen Seville, Kevin and Kathy Worth, the Commissioner and his wife Betty, Judy Jasper and Roger Finnan, Paul Sagona, Jerry Pash, and Beverly Straub. I hope that you join me in welcoming the Commissioner to the House today. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Statements by members.
Member for North Vancouver Seymour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to celebrate Creative Industries Week and to shine a spotlight on 2025, the Year of Music in British Columbia. I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional territories of the Coast Salish people, the Lekwungen, particularly the Songhees and Kosapsum here, and the Tsleil-Waututh and Squamish, where I live. Music is the heartbeat of our province. While we often celebrate the artists on stage, there's an entire ecosystem working behind the scenes to bring music to life. Educators spark creativity in our young, producers, engineers, agents, managers, venue operators, and festival organizers all play a vital role. Families and friends cheer on young musicians as they pursue their dreams. These are the people who power BC's vibrant music industry. In my riding of North Vancouver Seymour, organizations like the North Shore Registered Music Teachers Association and Ava Music and Art Centre are building community through music and nurturing the next generation of talent. Strong music programs across primary, secondary, and post-secondary education ensures every child has a chance to discover music. This year, BC artists are already making their mark. At the 2025 Juno Awards, BC Talent earned 66 nominations, 26 of them supported through the provincially funded Amplify BC programs, and one of the winners was Rafi, for those of you who know Rafi. In February, BC musicians such as Nelly Furtado lit up the stage at the Invictus Games, and we look forward to the Canadian Country Music Awards in Kelowna this fall. Local concerts and festivals also continue to connect communities, support local economies, and strengthen our cultural fabric. That's why in 2023, our government announced a historic $42 million investment in the creative sector, including $22.5 million over 3 years for Amplify BC. Let's celebrate the people who make music and the incredible music that makes BC such a vibrant place to call home. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Peace River South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to recognize a remarkable citizen of Dawson Creek, Ed Maw, a man whose life has been defined by service, generosity, and unwavering commitment to his community. Ed is the proud son of Bing Maw, a Chinese immigrant who founded Bing's Furniture in 1959. Over the 1980s, Ed took over the business, officially purchasing the 29,000 square foot building in 1985. But what Ed built went far beyond furniture. He built a legacy of community care. For decades, Bing's wasn't just a store, it was a stepping stone for local youth entering the workforce, a place where families struggling to make ends meet could still access essential furniture through flexible pay-when-you-can plans. Ed never hesitated to help a staff member in need, whether it was a vehicle, a loan, repairs, etc. Because of him, business was always personal. Ed and his family gave tirelessly to the community. His parents painted the mural seen on Bing's west wall, and Ed has shown up for every school function, coached local baseball, volleyball teams, and even brought McDonald's fries for entire classrooms, with his burned arms and all. He read weekly with students, supported school fundraisers, and was a fixture at hot dog days. After retiring in 2023, Ed continued working without pay for 1.5 years in order to assist the transition of the new owners. Just last month, he took back the business to transform it into a year-round local market for artisans and entrepreneurs. Mr. Speaker, Ed Maw is also a Citizen of the Year, founder of the Dawson Creek Car Club, and a recipient of the King Charles III Coronation Medal. Today, I ask this House to join me in thanking Ed Maw, not only for his service, but for his heart.
Member for Surrey City Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to recognize the Downtown Surrey Business Improvement Association, more commonly referred to as the DSBIA. At its inception in 2001, this BIA was formed by a small group of business owners and property owners who had issues of concern, and also to plan for economic development in the Whalley area. The DSBIA has now become one of the most impactful organizations in the downtown core. But of course, no organization is great without the people who keep it running. CEO Elizabeth Modell, who, by the way, also has well over 100 Ironman triathlons under her belt, is the leader who inspires excellence and influences thoughtful growth in the downtown core. She is a community champion who bridges conversation between various sectors and groups. And her team, Tracy Gravel, the now retired Bonnie Burnside, and Madeline Nichols are the hardworking pillars that give the DSBIA the excellent reputation that it deserves. A highlight initiative of the DSBIA is their student internship program. Students plan and execute projects which benefit our business community and the broader community. From working with businesses to revitalize their storefronts, to developing websites and marketing strategies for the mom-and-pop restaurants, which have some of the most delicious food in the city. From conducting safety surveys and studies to hosting events, meticulously planned from start to finish and on budget. I have seen the excellent students who go through this program. Some have interned here at this very legislature, and some actually work in government, and we are very proud of their accomplishments. Mr. Speaker, we say in the City of Surrey that the future lives here, and I can say with confidence that our future is well nurtured with organizations like the Downtown Surrey Business Improvement Association. Thank you.
Member for Salmon Arm, Shuswap.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now that the warmer weather is upon us, that can only mean one thing. It's officially rodeo season. And in my riding, we are proud to host one of Canada's oldest and finest, the 105-year-old Falkland Stampede. It all began in March of 1919 when residents gathered in a field in the northwest corner of the town site to celebrate the end of the First World War. They arrived by wagon, buggy, horseback, and car, sharing food, laughter, and homemade ice cream. That humble celebration became the first ever Falkland Stampede. One of the first bucking horses ever mentioned was a big roan owned by David Hill, who worked on the CNR grade. He bet that a young caribou cowboy named Chris English couldn't ride his bronc. Well, Chris managed to stay on for a few seconds, but he stayed on the ground a lot longer. Over time, the traditions grew, and what became Empire Day in March shifted to Victoria Day in May. In 1931, students from Glenema, Falkland, and Westwald schools voted to choose a May Queen. Although the May Day activities eventually faded, the rodeo itself kept growing stronger year after year. In 1936, a brand new community hall hosted its first Stampede dance. Then in 1969, the Falklands Little Rodeo went professional, officially registered with the Cowboy Protective Association, and it's been expanding ever since. A special highlight came in 1980 with the Terry Fox Rodeo Champions, which raised $6,000 for cancer research and grew a crowd of 4,000 people for a small little community. Today, the Falkland Stampede ranks among the top 12 rodeos in Canada. Thousands gather each year for world-class rodeo events, fan-favorite clowns, as well as trick riders, pancake breakfasts, country dances, and so much more. This year's Stampede runs from May 17th to May 20th. And if you've never been, come experience the excitement for yourself. And if you're a regular, yee-haw, and I'll see you there.
Member for Ladysmith Oceanside.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Today I'm excited to rise to highlight an incredible organization in the riding of Ladysmith Oceanside, the Ladysmith Resources Centre Association. The Ladysmith Resources Center Association is an inclusive, nonprofit, multi-service organization that assists people in all stages of life in the Ladysmith community and surrounding areas. This includes providing housing support, victim services, counseling, restorative justice, family and youth support, senior services, and food security. The LRCA was formed in 1992 and continues to grow and has become an integral part of the Ladysmith community. One of their newest projects, the Heart on the Hill, is a 36-unit subsidized housing initiative that just celebrated its second full year of operations, providing stable housing for Ladysmith residents in need. The Ladysmith Resources Center operates a 10-bed, 24-hour-a-day, 365-day-a-year shelter for anyone who is homeless or at risk of homelessness. The facility operates seamlessly in the heart of downtown Ladysmith. This past year, the LRCA was able to expand their counseling services and has grown to include both master's level student counselors and retired professionals offering their expertise. This includes Ladysmith's first trauma counselor to meet critical mental health needs in the community. Their victim services program provides 24/7 on-call and in-office crisis and trauma support to the communities of Ladysmith, Cedar, Cassidy, Staminas, Thetis Island, Penellicut Island, Saltaire, and Chemainus. There are lots of other amazing programs the LRCA provides, including programs for LGBTQI+ youth, mental health and wellness, initiatives, a drop-in program for fathers, senior support services, and so much more. I admire and appreciate all the work they do for the community and for leading with empathy and compassion in everything they do. Thank you.
Member for Kootenai Rockies.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When I first walked into this legislature, I stopped for a moment, not out of nerves, but out of respect. You can feel the weight of this place, the history, the responsibility, the generations of decisions made within these walls. And standing here, I felt it. But more than anything, I felt purpose. I didn't grow up planning to be a politician. I was busy raising a family, running a business, and doing what folks in the Kootenays do. Work hard, solve problems, and help our neighbors. But over time, I started seeing too many things slipping through the cracks, and I couldn't ignore it. So I stepped up. I'm here because I believe BC can be better for working families and rural communities, for the next generation. Representing Kootenai Rockies, just the 8th MLA ever to do so, is one of the greatest responsibilities I've ever had to carry. And I take that seriously. The people I represent are resilient, they value hard work, straight talk, and accountability. And they deserve someone who brings that same spirit to this chamber every single day. Now let's be honest, we won't always agree on things in here, and that's okay. That's what we call democracy. But whether sitting across from me or right beside me, I believe that we all are here because we care deeply about this province. So to everyone in this house, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your service, thank you for your dedication, and thank you for your belief in this province. We are all here for the same reason, to make life better for the people who depend on us, the people who put us in these seats. Because when we leave these halls, it's not the titles that will matter, it's the lives we've changed, the people that we've helped, and the future we've built together for British Columbia. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Oral questions by members.
Third Party House Leader.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. In recent years, devastating floods and extreme wildfires in BC have killed countless people, destroyed hundreds of homes, displaced tens of thousands of people, and caused billions of dollars in destruction. It's undeniable. The climate emergency is slowly destroying our ways of life. Yet this government has consistently shown it's not prepared to protect people from the impacts of climate change, nor are they ready to transform the extractive economy that got us here. This year's budget provided no mention of increased spending for the province's nascent flood plan or for reduced wildfire risks. My question through the Speaker is to the Minister of Energy. Your own Climate Solutions Council warned that the province is not prepared for the threats that climate change pose to communities and the economy. What is the minister's response to them? Thank you, Mr.
Minister of Energy.
Well, thank you, Honourable Speaker, and the Climate Solutions Council, which is established by legislation, plays an important role in providing recommendations for change and working with us to see that that change is implemented, and we've consistently done that. You see that in the clean electricity requirement, which has been given life since the most recent Parliament was put into place with renewable energy projects across BC. You see it in the low carbon fuel standard, which we've used to expand not just our climate agenda, but to support jobs in different parts of the province. We've seen it, Honourable Speaker, in the output-based pricing system, which we support in British Columbia and continue to support. We see it in January 1st when we put in new methane regulations, that BC is leading Canada in the reduction of such emissions in the oil and gas industry by 43% since 2015. In short, by working together, we're making progress, and it's why, Honourable Speaker, because under the Clean BC plan, we need to make more progress, both in the commitment of people and the opportunity of people to contribute to solutions on climate change. It's why we've moved forward our review of that plan and are working with the Honourable Member and his party on a review of this plan, which I hope we will be announcing shortly.
Member supplemental.
If this government is serious about recovering healthcare costs from wrongdoers, they must look at the role of fossil fuel companies in BC's health costs. Fossil fuel air pollution is a leading cause of early death in Canada, killing 34,000 Canadians each year. The 2021 heat dome cost the province upwards of $5 billion. And smoke from wildfires leads to respiratory, heart, and other conditions that require hospitalization and increased healthcare costs. Just like the tobacco industry, fossil fuel companies have engaged in misinformation campaigns to discourage governments from enacting laws that would save lives. My question, through you, Mr. Speaker, is to the Attorney General. Will this government demand accountability and compensation from the oil and gas industry so that citizens aren't left bearing the costs? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm really proud of the work our government has done and led the way in terms of national class actions. We've led the way on tobacco, we've led the way on opioids, and had success at every level of the court system here in BC, and that's a BC-led initiative that we can all be proud of. Recently, I was able to announce one of the largest settlements ever against tobacco, big tobacco. And that would mean $3.7 billion coming into BC healthcare right here. The tools that we have under the Healthcare Cost Recovery Act are very important. Although, as Attorney General, I'm not going to indicate in the House right now what would be future litigation opportunities or where we will use the tools that we've developed. But what I will say is that I'm very proud of the work we've done so far on behalf of British Columbians, and it's something we can all be proud of. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Chilliwack-Cultus Lake.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, to the Minister of Health. How many doses of prescribed alternative opioids did this government hand out between 2022 and 2024?
Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you to the member for the question. Talking about the prescribed alternative program, which is a valued part of our government's approach, one of many tools that we are using to separate people from the effects of the toxic drug supply. Mr. Speaker, prescribed alternatives are literally medicine for people that help save lives while they work with their care providers and prescribers to move on to other forms of assistance like opioid agonist therapy. Mr. Speaker, we've recently made changes, as the House knows, to the prescribed alternatives program, moving into witnessed consumption as a way of balancing public health priorities. Mr. Speaker, we know that prescribed alternatives need to be used by the people for whom they are intended, and that's why we've moved the program this way. Thank you.
Member for Kootenay Rockies.
It's my birthday and you forget me. It's okay. To the Minister of Mining and Critical Minerals, how long has the Seashell Carbonite mine been undergoing permitting in BC?
Minister of Mines.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Thanks to the member for the question. Honourable Speaker, we have a very rigorous process, assessment process when we talk about mining sector, Mr. Speaker, and to make sure we have public safety and high-level environmental safety, Mr. Speaker. I cannot, Mr. Speaker, comment on the individual case. I will be happy to talk to the member, Mr. Speaker. If member want to talk to me about that particular case, I can provide, of course, the member the information, so I will be happy to talk to the member about that.
Member for Langley Willowbrook.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Social Development and Poverty Reduction, what is the average wait time for seniors who applied for long-term care in BC?
Minister of Social Development and Poverty Reduction. It's taking on notice.
Mr. Speaker, long-term care is not in my file, but I will say that absolutely any time that a member of the public seeks service from our government, we do everything we can to get them connected as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Member for Delta South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 8 years have gone by with no signs of the George Massey Tunnel ever being replaced. To the Minister of Infrastructure, how much have you spent on the Massey Tunnel replacement even before the environmental assessments have been completed?
Minister of Transportation. Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Work is underway on the George Massey Tunnel, Honourable Speaker. It is funded by the provincial government. We are working with the federal government to get a significant contribution to that project, which was going to improve transportation throughout the Lower Mainland by being able to take dangerous goods under there, Honourable Speaker. It's a project that has been approved by local government, Honourable Speaker. We know that the other side of the House, again, doesn't seem to want the project to go ahead, but this side is committed to being building the project. Work is underway in terms of design preparation, Honourable Speaker. As I told the House the other day, in response to a question where they said there were engineering and technical issues, that was not the case, Honourable Speaker, that the engineering and technical issues are...
Minister will conclude.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The project is being built and we're going to get it done.
Member for Langley Abbotsford.
To the Minister of Transportation, how many people died in fatal crashes in British Columbia in 2023?
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. One death, Honourable Speaker, in a crash is too many. That's why this ministry focuses on ensuring that our highways are safe, with incredible staff who do an amazing job. That's why we've strengthened the number of commercial vehicle safety enforcement officers, Honourable Speaker. That's why we are making investments right across this province in terms of dealing with issues on our highways and our side roads, identifying priorities, making sure they're funded. That's why there's $15 billion of capital projects across this province to improve transportation, Honourable Speaker, and make our roads and highways safer. And we are going to continue to do that kind of work, Honourable Speaker, because it's important for the province of British Columbia.
Member for Caribou-Chilcotin.
To the Minister of Agriculture, how much more is household spending on food this year as compared to last year?
Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think that the cost of food and where we're sourcing it is of great interest right now to British Columbians. I don't have that fact on me today, but what I can say is that as we look over this year, and I expect the coming years, there's been a fundamental shift in the way that people are shopping and they're trying to support British Columbia producers. We are focused in on trying to make sure that we're supporting farmers so they can produce more. We're looking to support food processors so they can process more and get more BC and Canadian food onto those shelves. And we see that's what consumers are wanting these days.
Member for Richmond Queensborough.
To the Attorney General, what is the current vacancy rate for Crown prosecutors in BC?
Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've been making record investments in our justice system. I'm really proud to note a few things. We are almost at full complement when it comes to our Supreme Court and our Court of Appeal. Our provincial court is fully complement with our judges. And Crown Counsel, we were able to hire 40 new Crown Counsel over the last couple years. And so we are continuing to staff up our Crown Counsel, and from the BC Prosecution Service note to me, we have full complement. Thank you.
Member for Penticton Summerland.
Thank you. To the Minister of Children and Family Development, how many children in MCFD's care are currently missing?
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I want to thank the member opposite for the question. The safety and well-being of children in this province is my top priority. Anytime a child is missing, that is very concerning for the family, for the caregiver, and for the people involved in the child care system. We have processes in place in our ministry. Anytime a child is in need of protection, I've provided the member opposite with the information around the policies and procedures in the Ministry of Children and Family Development. Frontline staff work with families with information. Information around children is protected under the Child, Family and Community Services Act. Always happy to work with the members opposite on this very issue.
Member for Chilliwack North.
Thank you. My question is also for the Minister of Children and Family Development. How many children have died in government care since 2017?
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. As I've mentioned in this House before, any child that dies is devastating. We have provided the numbers, we publicly disclose the numbers of children who die in government care and children who die in general in this province publicly. Everybody has access to that information, including the members of this House, including the members of the public. I've provided with the member from Penticton a comprehensive breakdown of the number of children in care who have passed away. The coroner service publicly discloses the reasons for those deaths, and we've canvassed that pretty extensively in this House already, Honourable Speaker.
Member for Prince George Valemount.
To the Minister of Citizen Services, what percentage of rural British Columbians do not have access to high-speed internet?
Minister of Citizen Services.
Thank you for the question. Since 2017, we have invested $584 million towards expanded connectivity to rural, remote, and First Nation community, as well as along highways. So now 74% of rural homes have access to high-speed internet, compared to only 57% when we took office in 2017. So that's a vast improvement from 57% to 74%. And in 2017, only 66% of homes in First Nation community had access to high-speed internet services. The figure is now 83%, and that will grow to 96% when the current project in progress are completed, and that's anticipated in 2027.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Minister. Member for Surrey South.
To the Minister of Transportation, what is the fine for not paying for a ticket on the SkyTrain?
Minister of Transportation. Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, our SkyTrain system is going to grow by another 16 kilometres as we are investing $5.9 billion in building a brand new line on the And part and parcel of that expansion, Honourable Speaker, will be an expansion in the very important transit police who help keep security and safety on our transit system, Honourable Speaker. In fact, yesterday I met with the representative from the Transit Police Union to talk about ways in which we can...
Please conclude. Please continue.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The member across the way says that talking about the great work that our transit police do on our transit system to keep people safe is pontificating, Honourable Speaker. Shame on that member. Those men and women do an incredibly important job, and they put their safety on the line every single day, Honourable Speaker. He may think it's pontificating talking about the great work that they do. This side of the House supports our transit police.
Member for West Vancouver, Capilano.
Mr. Speaker, to the Minister of Education and Childcare, what was the infrastructure deficit for the Surrey School District as of June 2024?
Minister of Infrastructure.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. In Surrey, we have invested over $1 billion in Surrey School District since 2017, a historic investment. We have so far completed 19 projects, with 19 projects more underway, and this is in comparison to just to the years prior to our government taking office, when 0 new schools were built in the 4 years prior to 2017. So yes, there was absolutely an infrastructure deficit, and we're working hard each and every day to overcome that. Thank you.
Member for Abbotsford Mission.
To the Minister of Education and Childcare, how many people are currently on the wait list for $10 a day childcare?
Minister of Education.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thank the member for the question, because we know how important it is to provide affordable, reliable, safe childcare to families all across the province. We have a number of ways we do that, Honourable Speaker. The $10 a day program that the member mentioned currently has over 16,000 seats in it. Just last 2 weeks ago, I announced an additional 770 spaces. We are on track to meet our federal targets of 20,000 by spring next year. But that's not all we do, Honourable Speaker. We also provide support to 138,000 families through our fee reduction program, which has resulted in the reduction of costs on average $900 a month per families. This has brought childcare down from $47 a day when we formed government in 2017 to $19 a day on average. And we're going to keep going. Thank you.
Member for West Kelowna, Peachland.
To the Minister of Emergency Management, what's the average insurance payout from disaster financial assistance for losses due to a wildfire?
Minister of Emergency Management.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. We know that communities across BC are finding challenges with flooding, with fire, and it's always so important for personal preparedness as well as government preparedness. For people, I recommend going to Prepared BC and looking at the information about addressing each of the hazards that different communities might face. One of the aspects that people should be looking at is getting home insurance. Fire insurance is readily available across BC, and people can look at optional coverage for things like overland water and earthquake coverage, which are very critical. Disaster financial assistance helps assist people coming back from an emergency in instances where there is no readily available insurance. I know that it's
Thank you.
very
Thank you,
important
Minister.
for personal preparedness, and I welcome any questions from the member on that.
Member for Richmond Centre.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. So far, only one minister answered our question, so let me try again. To the Minister of Emergency Management, how many evacuation alerts due to wildfires were there in 2024?
Minister.
Thank you. It's very important to coordinate response across different ministries.
Member.
I'm really quite disheartened that members opposite find emergency preparedness, keeping communities safe, protecting people in their time of emergency hilarious. The amount of laughter on the other side is shameful.
Members. Minister will continue.
Thank you very much. My ministry coordinates across ministries for different kinds of emergency, whether that's wildfire, whether that's flooding, whether that's landslides. Our ministry makes sure that those lines of communication are open, that we're protecting people, that we're showing up in communities and supporting them in their response and recovery. Thank you.
Member for Salmon Shuswap.
To the Minister of Water, Lands and Natural Resource Stewardship, how many new foreshore licenses have been processed or renewed since the 2024 election?
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thank you so much for the question. It's water, land, and resource stewardship, not natural, but thank you for that. I can get that number for you.
Member for Peace River South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Energy, from 2018 to January 2025, how much did the government spend handing out stickers for EVs?
Minister of Energy.
Well, thank you, Honourable Speaker. And I think the achievement of British Columbians in leading Canada in buying new EVs and the impact that has on the economy, where we're displacing gasoline, which is produced outside of BC, Honourable Speaker, with EVs that are powered by electricity that we make inside BC, is a significant achievement. It's a significant achievement, for example, by the New Car Dealers Association, which has been a partner in that exercise, by BC Hydro, and by British Columbians. I think, and I hold the member in high regard, and I look forward to our further discussions in estimates debate. But I would say that these issues in our province are serious issues. The issues of climate change, the issues of economic development, of building a better province together. And I think in this House, in the questions we ask and the way we have exchanges, we should promote that dialogue and promote solutions and not engage, I think, Honourable Speaker, in games that don't serve the public interest.
Member for Kamloops North Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thanks for the reminder that this is question period, not answer period. To the Minister of Forests, how many sawmills and manufacturing facilities have been closed in the last 2 years?
Minister of Forests.
Mr. Speaker, at a time when we are under threat by Donald Trump, you have an official opposition that is completely out of touch. What an absolute embarrassment we are experiencing, whether it is the threat of our sovereignty, whether it is the impact on our softwood lumber, the impact on our forest sector, to have the members across the way waste valuable time holding government accountable to ask really dumb questions. I would ask the member opposite, use your time wisely, ask us questions, hold us accountable, don't waste our time.
Member for North Island.
Not to waste anybody's time, but to the Minister of Health, what is the benchmark standard for emergency room wait times?
Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Thank you to the member for the question. We had the chance to canvass many detailed questions like this in estimates. Mr. Speaker, I don't think this is estimates. I think this is question period. Mr. Speaker, I think the members opposite know
that cabinet ministers have a tremendous responsibility, that they oversee incredible resources, people, opportunities, programs, and that we are focused on making life better for British Columbians. Mr. Speaker, those are the subjects we should be canvassing in this House. That's what we should be talking about.
Member for Courtney-Comox.
To the Minister of Health, with that non-answer, we know the benchmark is around 4 hours. What percentage of ER visits even meet that low standard?
Minister.
Once again, Honourable Speaker, thank you to the member opposite for the question. I know that he and many others on the other side haven't had the privilege of sitting in Cabinet, haven't had the responsibility of being overseeing the programs and services that British Columbians depend on. They don't expect us to memorize numbers, Mr. Speaker. They expect us to do our jobs, and my job is to help strengthen the public universal healthcare system for British Columbians. I am willing, and I have made it abundantly clear to the member opposite, that I am willing to work with him to sit down and talk about solutions. Mr. Speaker, those are the conversations I want to be having with the opposition, with all members of this House. It's the work that I was sent here to do and that I am going to stay focused on. Thank you.
Member for Skeena.
Thank you. To the Minister of Health, this is a question that you should know the answer to. How many treatment beds are there in the Northern Health region?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Yes, we did canvass this. And you know what, Mr. Speaker, I don't have that number memorized, so I'm not going to say a number that I might get wrong. I will get it back to the member. We have canvassed that in estimates. I can tell her that we have added over 750 treatment and recovery beds since we formed government in 2017. I can tell the member that we have over 3,700 publicly funded beds here in British Columbia. Mr. Speaker, I can also tell the member, because we discussed this in estimates, that there are not enough services for people up north, that we know there is more work to do to serve people who live in remote and rural communities. My commitment is to continue to expand those services. Mr. Speaker, we will be expanding Road to Recovery into the northwest part of British Columbia, because we know that people living in those communities need accesses to services like that. Mr. Speaker, I remain committed to that work, and I'm here to do it.
Member for Kamloops Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, today we've had questions asked of, by my count, 21 ministers. 21 ministers, and we've had one minister even come close to answering a question that they were asked under their file, and it was the Minister of Citizen Services. We got a lecture from the Minister of Forests because we had the temerity to ask a question of how many sawmills have closed under his watch, and instead of remotely answering the question, he said, and I quote, "Holding government accountable is a waste of time." We asked the minister responsible for kids in care, how many kids are currently missing? No answer.
Question, member.
How many kids? Well, Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, we've asked 10-second questions today and had to endure 3-minute non-answers, so I'll just be a second. No answer on how many kids have died. You would think that a government that is supposed to be focused on results would actually know what the results they're trying to drive towards actually are, Mr. Speaker. But this government, from sawmill closures to ER closures to ER wait times, childcare wait lists for childcare, kids missing, kids who have died, wildfire costs, no answer. No relevance from their answers whatsoever, because they simply do not know where they're trying to drive while we have record deficits in British Columbia, Mr. Speaker. So again, my question to the government is a simple one. When can we expect this government to actually start publishing, start providing to the public, to the opposition, because it's not a waste of time to hold the government accountable, actual benchmark deliverables that the ministers are actually responsible for and driving towards, which are supposed to be in their mandate letters, but apparently they consider all of that a waste of time, and how dare we ask them what they are actually delivering on for British Columbians.
Thank you. Government House Leader.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And what we saw today from the opposition shows exactly why they deserve to be over there, Honourable Speaker. They know full well, and that member knows full well, the estimates process details with detailed questions every single time we're in the estimates, which we are right now, that those questions get answered. He knows full well that the
members.
Know the file, Honourable Member. Every single member on this side of the House knows what the file is. Every single member knows it's about making life more affordable for British Columbians. Every single member knows it's about building the infrastructure, whether it's hospitals in Port St. James, hospitals in Terrace, roads like the Patella, or bridges like the Patella Bridge. Every single member knows what their job is. It's about making sure we maintain a public health care system, Honourable Speaker. And Honourable Speaker, we answer questions on those every single day. But you know, when it comes to questions, Honourable Speaker, we saw them during the election campaign. Half their members wouldn't show up to an all-candidates meeting, Honourable Speaker. Their leader, Honourable Speaker, would hold press conferences and refuse to take a supplemental. Would only take questions.
Members. Be quiet, please. That's enough. Members, come to order. Please conclude.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And I'll tell you something else, Honourable Speaker. No one on this side of the House had to throw out their campaign signs because they decided they couldn't win with the party they were running and ran with another party.
The bell and the question period. Surrey City Centre, member.
Honourable Speaker, I raise a point of order or privilege. I'm not sure if you would guide me, where a member opposite referred to us as lying, which I'm sure is a word that we cannot use in this House.
Member, that's a point of order. That's a point of order, member.
Sure, thank you. A point of order, Honourable Speaker, for the member from Langley. I don't know.
We'll
Langley
check.
Walnut Grove. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else? Any member on that point of order wants to say anything? If not, we will take it under advisement, member. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Orders of the day.
Government House Leader.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. In this chamber, I call continued second reading debate Bill 5, and in the Douglas Fir Room, Section A, continued committee stage Bill 7.
Thank you. Committee Chair.